Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Giga and this is Valhalla Hills. Well, this is my first play and record game I ever did, so hopefully it will be okay for the beginning. Now, regarding that, I also have very limited equipment, so I'm just using headphones and mic. But yeah, getting experience and getting better at it is something this game knows very well. So, okay. Now, Valhalla Hills is kind of like a settlers game. I mean, from 1 to 4. But it includes Vikings. So, me as a big Viking fan, everything regarding Vikings is something I'm very interested in. This game is of course automatically go-to game, but apart from that, it's the graphics are, I don't know, it's cute, they're awesome. I really love them. The sound, the music is fantastic, and yeah, the gameplay itself is, well, it's not that difficult, but sometimes AI is a bit weird, but let's just skip that for now. Okay, so let's begin. When you get into the game, you have to create a profile. Now you can see I already have one, but for the purpose of this video, let's just go with Ulfgar 2.0. Okay, so we got some new unlocks. I'll explain later what that means. Basically, the thing you have to do is get enough Vikings, or the Vikings should get enough honor so they can be accepted back into Valhalla, and yeah, that's kind of the silver lining of the game. Now, of course, when the Viking does come to Valhalla, he becomes a lot stronger. So if that specific Viking comes back down to Midgard, let's say, he's a lot more powerful than the normal Vikings. And you can see unlocks here. This is something I'll get into a bit later. It's related to the game. Okay, so without further ado, let's start. And this tab, Vikings, I'll explain later as well. New map. Now you have two options here. You can either go with the open game, which means you unlock everything you get from the classic mode. And you have the classic option, which is, where you should start. Okay, let's begin. I apologize for my English. English is not my first language, so if I sometimes say something you don't understand, just ignore me. Okay, I'll get better. Okay, so welcome Liko, God of Building. Now there's a short introduction about the game, but when I tried to record it, it just didn't go through, so I'll try to include it with the next gameplay. Okay, so prove to your father that you are worthy of returning to Valhalla by mastering randomly generated missions suited to your progress. Everything you do may unlock new opportunities and challenges. Your goal is to lead your followers to the summit of Valhalla time and again, and gather honor by constructing buildings, fighting, or performing offerings. The construction menu at the bottom of the screen is divided into buildings for production, transport, and battle. Open the construction menu. Okay. So you get this small tutorial pop-ups which explain everything about the game. Okay, so these are the Vikings. As you see, they just fell down from the sky, and they're here doing Liko's will. So Liko is the god of builders, as we read before, and he's trying to help all the Vikings go back to Valhalla. Okay, so portals. Your Vikings have discovered a portal that it is hoped leads to Bifrost, the fabled rainbow bridge that could take them to Asgard. More often than not, however, denizens of the underworld guard the portals. As soon as you open a portal, they can invade your world and attack your village. Defend yourself or appease the dark forces with sacrificial offerings. More on those later. Now open the portal to begin the next mission. The forces of evil are still asleep and will not attack your Vikings this time. Now this is weird, it's already activated. Usually the portals activate when you get close enough, so because of the map placement, I guess that's the problem. Okay, So let's just do what the first tutorial instructed us. So construction, you have wood, you have stone, and you have food. So you can pause here and read everything because there's a lot of pop-ups at the beginning of the game, and I'll just try to explain it in a shorter version. So this tab here has 3 bars. As you can see, the production, the logistics, and military. Production is basically everything regarding resources. Logistics is transportation and housing, and military, yeah, everything about military, and I think sacrificial altars as well. Okay, so let's just start. You have 2 options here for now. So woodcutter and toolmaker. Woodcutter, yeah, it doesn't matter. That doesn't need much explanation. And the toolmaker is where Vikings produce tools. So if you want to chop down a tree, the Viking has to have an axe. They can do it barefisted, as you will see sometimes, but it takes a very long time. And of course, the higher quality the axe, the faster the chopping is done. So, but we'll get to that a bit later. So, as I clicked on the woodcutter building, you can see there are certain areas that are highlighted. That means that the placement of this building here is the best for regarding resources. So you have 3 options, well 4, sorry, oh 3. Well, it's been a while since I played this one. So green is the best one, you use the least amount of resources. There's a yellow one, which usually means you have to, the Vikings have to build some sort of a pedestal. I'll just pause here just a second. And the red one, which means they have to build a large pedestal so they can level the terrain where the building will be placed. Okay, so let's start. It's usually advisable to place the building somewhere near the trees. But don't forget, don't place it too far from the starting point, because then Vikings will have to carry a lot the distance, a large distance before the building is constructed. Okay, so as you can see, when I placed down the building, one of the Vikings immediately grabbed a log and carried it here. Okay. Now you can deactivate certain buildings if you don't need them anymore. This is this tab here. This just means that the building will still be there, but no one will work in it. Okay. And the game works like this. We'll see that with the toolmaker. As soon as I place... Okay, so I already explained that. As soon as I place the toolmaker, one of the Vikings will grab a resource and will carry it to here. Now you have a carrier, which means you can actually speed up the construction. That means a lot more Vikings will help. But bear in mind there is a population cap here, so that means if I put 5 Vikings here, I won't have anyone to do anything else. Okay, so here is the building cost. I think it was 3 logs. Now another one will be carried here by Ilk Frothy. Okay, so yeah, the toolmaker is done. Now the toolmaker also needs a tool, but since he is a toolmaker, he will make one for himself. As you can see, he already grabbed a stick and a stone fragment, and he already made a hammer. So you can see it here on his back. Okay. Okay, now. Okay, so you can see this guy here hitting wood. Tree, sorry. Yeah. I mean, they're quite strong. You know, kind of like a kung fu guy. Okay, so let's save him the suffering. And build him an axe, or create him an axe. Okay, now every tool has its own resource. So this one particularly needs a stick and flintstone. Now flintstone is you can get by picking stone resources, and it's kind of like a byproduct of the stone fragment. We don't have anyone on this map. No, not yet. Okay, so we'll see. Okay, so you've seen this guy got hungry, and at the beginning of the game, it's your first priority is to get them well fed, so food. They will get the berries if they're in the vicinity. If not, they'll just starve. So it's our goal, our mission to keep them fed and rested. So yeah, if they don't have a house, they'll just sleep somewhere near a tree. But this is, yeah, it's wasteful because if they sleep in their own house, they will actually rest a lot quicker. And yeah, okay, so let's see, toolmaker. Okay, let's build them a tent so they can live somewhere. Okay, now the tents or the houses, it's advisable to build them near their workstation. So it doesn't matter where, as soon as they are somewhere close, the Vikings in the vicinity will take this residence. So as you can see, there's a black line, which means that everything inside this barrier will be covered by this tent. So every Viking in this area, or this Vikings in their job post in this area, will take this house. Okay, we'll just speed this up a bit more. Okay, so all goods were manufactured. That means that this guy just created an axe for Bergfinn. And oh, we got tier. Funny. Okay, so the tent is constructed, and if you click on it, you can see that Frothy, damn, this name is tough. Frothy already took it. Okay, so we got a new achievement, Sawmill. Okay, so as every time you get this unlock or achievement, that means you kind of completed a certain quest, and that means that next map we will start will have access to a sawmill. Okay, so there's another tab here. Let's go through those again. I'll just slow down a bit. You have a resource tab, so here you have everything regarding resources, how many you have, and so on. Sometimes this is a bit funny, because if you have an area of influence somewhere and there's a bone there, you will actually see a certain number here, but the Vikings won't pick it up because it's just too far, so it's kind of weird that way. Okay, so statistics, you can see various progress you do, and you have a timeline here, so you can pick. Okay, so these are unlocks. So those two I will explain later, and this that we got. Okay, and then the next. Here is everything we can unlock during our gameplay, and there's certain requirements for that. So okay, small storage. If you put a cursor on it, you see it says that we still need a total of at least 20 resources produced, or harvested, or collected, so we can unlock this in our next gameplay. And currently we have 17, so that will be quite soon. Okay, and there's a lot of other things. For example, we will unlock cattle somewhere in the game, and yeah, paths, and so on. So we'll see as the game goes on. Okay, military is still absent for the time being. Now the first mission is usually go as near to the portal as possible and then open the portal. Luckily this one doesn't have any guardians, so let's just do that. Okay, and we are victorious. Oh, this is nothing special, so this is basically just for the camera, how it works and so on. You know the procedure. Okay, so you see these guys got honor. So every time you open a portal and defeat the guardians, so there are smaller ones as well, your guys will get honor. And the more honor they get, the sooner they will get to Valhalla. Now you see we got a bunch of unlocks. And we'll see what we unlocked as we finish this mission. Okay, victory. So unlocks, as we said before, sawmill. We got a fishing lodge, so we'll start to produce fish or catch fish. We got a rabbit. Oh yeah, okay, nice. We got a rabbit. Okay, so apart from these goodies, also the map size increases every now and then. So by the end of the game, so to speak, the maps are quite large and very difficult. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, we got an altar, we got an ice viking. Okay, so the first guardians of the portals will arrive. We got a spell inventory, healing spell. Oh, nice, wrath of the gods. Okay, so enemies will come from the portals. Okay, and we got a small storage as well. So let's go to the next mission. Okay, still a bit flat, but oh, we have some bunny rabbits here. There you are. The first transition through the portal was a child's play, but the portal guards now grow in strength and become increasingly aggressive as the game progresses. To train soldiers to fight them, you need military or army camps. Alternatively, you can appease them at sacrificial altars, thus opening the way through the portal by peaceful means. Okay, yeah, so you have a military camp and you have an army camp. The difference is the size of it, so how many soldiers, so to speak, are in the camp. The army is a lot bigger. I think you get, I forgot, is it 12? We'll see later on. Okay, and yeah, you have sacrificial altars where spells come from, but usually they have a cost, but we'll see in this next gameplay. Okay, so Vikings fell from the sky again. Hope that the landing wasn't hurt. Okay, so we have a bunch of bunny rabbits. We can't hunt them yet, but yeah. Okay, let's start. So basic needs. Yeah, if the Vikings get hungry or tired or the levels are very low, they just won't work. And usually that's where my game usually stops, so they don't move and they starve to death. So yeah. Okay, so as we said before, we need wood, so let's build a woodcutter. I usually go with the tool maker first because some maps are very limited with resource and I really need this one down first. Okay, but you can place multiple buildings, so let's do that. Place a woodcutter here. There's a bunch of trees here. Oh, we got a sawmill and a fishing lodge. Okay, now we have a new resource, so that's plank, and that they're produced by the sawmill. Okay, so every building needs one operator, so to speak. So the main guy who operates the building, and then you can assign certain carriers. Carriers are basically just what the name says. So they carry stuff to the building and they speed up the process. So for example, if we put a carrier here, they will help, Bjarne will help Bergfinn carry the resources here. So we can really focus on the work. Okay, so we got a woodcutter, and usually, yeah, it's something to, if it's important to someone, I mean, you can rename the Vikings anyway, but the last person that carries a resource to the building that's being constructed will usually take its place as an owner. Okay, so let's build him a simple axe so he doesn't hit the trees. Okay. Okay, and let's start with food production. So, as I mentioned before, you also have hunters, but we need to unlock them first. So, yeah. Okay, fishing lodges are usually problematic because most of the later maps, this terrain here is very high, so usually you have to build a pedestal, which costs a lot of other resources, but this time we're lucky. Okay, we have a small spot here, so let's build it. I mean, the beginning missions are very easy, so yeah, but around 5th mission, if I recall, the game changes quite a lot, so yeah. Okay, and since we have a fishing lodge building, let's order this guy to build him a simple fishing rod. Uh, yeah, unlike the woodcutter, the fisher won't go and catch fish with his bare hands, unfortunately, though that would save a lot of time and frustration later on in the games. Okay, so as you can see, we can't assign any helpers with the woodcutter, he's all alone. But yeah, I mean, if he's hitting trees, then yeah, I don't think he's afraid of anything. Okay, and let's build them a hut so they don't sleep somewhere on the open and rabbits eat them. Or yeah, funny thing, there's actually supposed to be a killer rabbit sometime later. You can unlock it with gameplay. Now, up till now, I haven't seen it. I think it's a reference to the Monty Python's Holy Grail, I think, because there was a killer bunny there that annihilated his entire army. But yeah, so far I haven't seen it. Maybe with this gameplay we will. Okay, so Halgrim, why are you complaining? Okay, so the fishing rod is not built yet. Let's speed this thing up. And as you can see, the toolmaker has certain storage space, and this means these resources are available as soon as I give them the order. Otherwise, the Vikings have to carry it from the storage space. Speaking of, okay, let's build a storage space. Let's build it, okay, somewhere close by here. Okay. Now there's a tip. Later on in the game, it's advisable to build a lot of storage spaces because this is the fastest way for a resource to get from one point to the other using the logistics camps. Yeah, so okay, we got a storage. Okay, so there's a Gudrun who's already working there, and we can also assign another carrier, which means he will help him take all these resources that are lying around and store it here. Okay, and we got a new unlock path. Okay, yeah, you will see if there's a certain route that Vikings take a lot, it will change from kind of like gravel to or sand to gravel to, or yeah. Okay, so okay, Hallgreen caught a fish. Great. Okay, food, and you can see the production rate here. Just yeah, it's nice to see how efficient the building is, but otherwise it's a bit tricky. You can see that the production rate here is high, but there aren't any fish coming, so either the Vikings are eating so fast or there's something I don't understand, but yeah. Okay, the food, like I think in most games, the food is quite problematic later on, so especially if there's Vikings have to walk around a lot to get their food. Okay. Now, let's build, okay, we have an altar here, so this is where we sacrifice resources for certain spells. Let's build one. There's also a military camp. Okay, so like with the production buildings, the military buildings also need tools or weapons. Now, since we don't have a weapons maker, weaponsmith at this point, they will just use either bare hands or a simple axe, which is made by the toolmaker. So let's build, I don't know, let's build 3. Military camp. Okay, so there are certain buildings that you can move around, like geologist, if I recall, and military camps. So the way you can't control the Vikings here, so you can only control them with certain buildings, and military camp is one such building. Okay, altar. So this is where all the spells will be located as we unlock them. At the moment we only have healing spells, so let's do that. And as you can see, it requires 5 fish. Let's give them another carrier. Okay, now you see the night and daytime here, and there are certain tabs here. So this is the starting portal. It's where Vikings come from. If the enemy destroys this portal, the game is over. And then you have so requested Vikings. That means how many Vikings are here. And you can also order Vikings manually. They will come as soon as there's a need for them, but you can also order them manually. But the problem is, if you order too many, you don't have enough food, they will starve, and everyone else will starve. Okay, then we have Viking capacity. That means how many Vikings can we hold at the moment, and this increases with every large build, so 10 and so on. This is how many warriors we have. At the moment we have Egmont, and then unemployed Vikings 2. So 2 are slacking. Who is slacking? No worries, we'll... Okay, so here's a military camp, and here you can see the warriors that already have tools. For example, this one has simple axe, and the damage increases with the better weapon he has. Yeah, let's add 2 more guys to it. Okay, we unlock the lake and we unlock the campfire. And hunter, oh nice, we'll be hunting something in the next game. Okay, so as soon as they become warriors, they will go to the toolmaker or storage, depending on where the tool or weapon is held, and they will get their weapon. So you can see them here. The badass guys, they actually have armor on it. Nice. Okay. Now awesome. So we have enough resources to make a offering. We do this. It takes a while, and voila! Here we have a spell which we can use while battling foes. And yeah, we got close to the portal that we can now open. We haven't used any sawmill. Okay. Well, let's just do this mission and then we will call it a day. As my first time, I think I won't push my luck. I think 30 minutes for now is quite okay. So I talked about a moving building. So if I click a toolmaker and click, nothing happens. But if I do that with a military camp, as you can see, the entire army moves to the next location. This is how the battles are done in Valhalla Hills. Sometimes it's a bit funny, tricky, especially battling foes later on, but we'll get by. I mean, you have to be very careful of the placement, especially on the terrain, but otherwise they will do most of the battle themselves, and you can support them with the spells. So let's do that. Let's get close to the portal, and yeah, you can see there will be one female ice guard. So females are very tough in this game. I won't try to push their luck. And we have some females here as well, and they can be warriors as well. So yeah, shield maidens. Okay, so we have two options here. We can either sacrifice 5 fish at the sacrificial altar to appease the gods or guardians, or we can fight them. But yeah, since we're in the spirit of Vikings, let's fight them. We open the portal. Yeah, brace yourself. Okay, so the entire map shakes. Fight, it's happened. Your Vikings have been attacked. Okay, so they are fighting here. As you can see, this is a female ice guard. She's an archer, but yeah, she's no match for our Viking warriors. They got honor as well. The portal is opened, and yeah, this is our queue to exit. Okay, so yeah, let's do that. And we will stop here. Thank you very much for being with me on my very first video about Valhalla Hills. If you like it, please comment. If you like it a lot, subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next time with the continuation of Valhalla Hills. Thank you very much and have a nice day.